The drama of this great celestial battle begins when Marduk first entered into our solar system. And as it passed by Uranus, something intense happens. The tablets write, Anu formed and gave birth to the four winds. He delivered them to Marduk, my son, let them whirl. These lines were interpreted as depicting several large chunks of planet matter beginning to tear away from Uranus's body and pulled towards the passing Marduk, which resulted in the formation of four satellites. These were the four winds, which were thrust into a fast orbit around the planet, swirling as a whirlwind. This would have been the theorized event causing numerous anomalies with Uranus, including its sideways tilt and warped magnetic field. Continuing to move into our solar system, the planet was soon seized by the tremendous gravitational forces of Saturn and Jupiter, and its path was bent inwards towards the center of our solar system, and Tiamat. In the story, when Marduk comes to visit Anshar, who is supposedly Saturn, Anshar sends his vizier Gaga off to see Lamu and Lahamu, Mars and Venus. This, Sitchin believed, was that Marduk's gravity pulled one of Saturn's small moons away from it, loosening its orbit, and sent it off into space past Venus and Mars, eventually establishing a rather curious orbit of its own, which today we know as Pluto. It's possible that along its path, Marduk may also have influenced the creation of Chiron, the small planetoid between Saturn and Uranus. As it drew closer, Marduk's gravity soon began to disturb all of the inner planets, most of all Tiamat, whose water and rocks began to break apart and tear from her body, creating 11 satellites that spiraled around the planet as if acting as a shield. These were the 11 dragons and monsters that Tiamat summoned in the story. Sitchin wrote that the tablets described Marduk and Tiamat to have been crowned with halos, giving the appearance of gods. Of particular importance in the Mesopotamian cosmogony was the largest of Tiamat's satellites, Kingu, the firstborn among the gods who formed her assembly. It is significant because as Marduk approached, Kingu was pulled closer to Marduk and away from Tiamat's orbit. Sitchin believed that Kingu being pulled away like this was Tiamat giving Kingu the Tablet of Destinies. In this interpretation, the tablet itself was actually a planetary orbit of its own, of which Kingu almost adopted. Nevertheless, soon Marduk was set on an unalterable collision course with Tiamat. Tiamat and Marduk, the wisest of the gods, advanced against one another. They pressed on to single combat. They approached for battle. When it passed by, it was not Marduk itself, but one of the swirling winds around it that crashed into Tiamat and severed a phenomenal chunk, splicing her in half. All of Tiamat's satellites, with the exception of Kingu, were instantly shattered, and their remains continued to spiral around the sun in Tiamat's orbit. Her body became distended. Her mouth had opened wide. He shot there through an arrow. It tore her belly. It cut through her insides, tore into her womb. Having thus subdued her, her life breath he extinguished. Tiamat was left fissured and lifeless, but her fate had future encounters between the two planets in store.